I would like to invite Gerrit Kazmaier, because we're going to do a preview. This is working software. As I said, this will be released, or planned to be released early 2015. And this preview is proudly brought to you by our global development team, which is led by Gerrit. And the last thing I'll say is that this integrates, everything you will see will integrate with BPC. It will integrate with ERP. So we'll bring all of that. So you have an opportunity to look at extending your current investment in BPC and look for public cloud opportunities to roll this out to your business. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Gerrit. Let's show what we got.
Thanks. Hi, guys. First of all, I'm psyched to be here, not only because I'm an engineer and usually we're not doing speeches, but especially because I'm really proud of what we did together with the sales team in not reinvent the old applications, but do something incredibly new. And the key design principle that we took was to look closely at our existing customers and learn what drives them. How are they doing their work? How do they organize and consume information? And how do they collaborate and engage with each other when doing their work? And one centerpiece of this is the home screen, which we are seeing right here. The home screen is a special dashboard that is welcoming me into the application and is a place where I can arrange my information according to the preferences I have. Also, it is the cockpit, if you will, for all things such as tasks, collaborations, discussions, workflow, and anything that occurs in my daily business. I can fully adjust this. For instance, I can resize or change the layout according to my visual needs. And how easy it is to create such visualizations and put them on dashboards or on the home screen will be something I'll show you in a couple of minutes. So, first of all, let's look at the data models behind this, because this is in fact one of the most exciting things. We're going to look at the profit and loss model, which we created for exactly this nice event here. And you will see that the first thing I'm seeing is not some technical UI. It is basically asking me about the time and category settings, which I want to define for my model. So I choose the smallest period of time that defines the time scope or the time frequency at which data resides in. I also set a start and an end date. And then the system already suggests me 5 predefined categories for which I only choose the input frequency at which data gets loaded for them. And on the right side, you see a preview pane, which is a common theme in the overall application. So at every point in time, you will be able to get a brief view on the settings you just did. If you go to the account settings, and I remove the properties and the preview pane, you will see that it's basically just a huge grid. Because that is how people work. And it is extremely efficient, right? Like in Excel, just jamming in numbers, jamming in anything that is going into your mind. And the interaction patterns are the very same, because there is nothing else to optimize here anymore. And I suggest that we enter one calculated account to demonstrate how easy it is. So I will just type my margin, if I manage to type it. And then I will switch to the formula bar. And the formula bar now allows me to define a calculation. And I can just start typing again. And you see that it is already suggesting me predefined accounts, such as the gross margin, divided by net revenue, to be my margin. And that's it. The calculation has been set up already, so there's no need for any additional steps. I can give it a description for a nicer display, just like my margin again with a space. And I can place it into the group of KPIs. If I want to define additional properties, I do so by just labeling another column, and a new property will appear for me. So let's look at the technical properties briefly. I want this to be a percentage, and so I just mark another cell and copy it down. It is as easy as that. And when we look at the preview pane again, you will see that again, it is showing me all the settings I just made, such as the formula, where it is located in the hierarchy. And if I fill out more settings, also a generated preview value, which we can see for this one, for example. So I see what I will get before doing anything else. Other dimensions are even more easy to set up, such as the region dimension. You see it's basically just a huge grid again, and the hierarchy view, where I can navigate either through the hierarchy or the grid. And all the keystrokes, all the interaction patterns are based on familiarity, right? The stuff you know. So we save this model because we want to see our newly created KPI and look at some data now. When I go to the report sections, you will see that there is already a profit and loss report, because with every model you generate, there will already be one report defined for you, which is trying to best guess a good default display, such as the accounts, and the categories I've pre-built. And I started to do some forecasting here, which we will extend in a second. When it comes to interaction with a report, you just drag and drop dimensions to either on rows and columns, and you will see that you can pivot and drill down into the table as you like. So let's do a chart now. By expanding the time, I will see that I have the years and I have forecast data and actuals, and I just highlight the region that I'm interested in and press visualize. And I will get a bar chart that is basically a graphical representation as you would expect from this selection. So let's do a line chart. And we set it to compare versions. And I'm not a financial person. I'm a computer scientist, but even I can do it. And so I guess it's not hard. And now I want to pin this to either my home screen or to a dashboard. And just by clicking Pin to Dashboard, all this is done. So we can check the dashboard now, already defined here, up front one as well. And you will see that there is one tile I created, the geographic chart, because I like it a lot. So if you have a region dimension, which is carrying geographic information, such as states, you can generate a geochart. And the system will already zoom to the right spatial extent for which where your data resides in. And you can resize it. And I forgot to show this at the very beginning. Of course, you can also display additional information on the geochart as well. So those are dashboards. Dashboards are a main sharing artifact. You can send it to other people. You can comment on them. You can allow people to view them, but not to extend them and all that good stuff. But enough with dashboards. Let's plan a little bit and change some numbers. And for this, I already prepared the income report, which is very close to what we just saw. But it has something else. It has a KPI definition here. So you see some conditional formatting. This is also something that you can do quite easily, define thresholds and subscribe to notifications when those numbers break certain thresholds. But now I want to update my forecast. And by hitting on the calculator, the menu proposes me to copy forward from an existing data slice. And I have my actuals and I have my forecast, and I just copy from my actual. And now I have to give it a name. And it's asking me for a name for a private version, because this version is only accessible to me now and no one else. So I just call it temp. And you see by the label, it's an unpublished version belonging to my user. And this is not only just a volatile version that goes away once I log off. This stays persistent, but no one can access it besides me. And I can play around with revenue by, let's say, increase it by 5%. And you see in the yellowish color all the parts in the hierarchy that get also updated by this operation. But I'm not sure what I'm doing here because I'm not a financial person. And so I would like to get Ivo's opinion as an expert user if this is a good move or not. And so I just undo my change and open a collaboration session. And you will see that there is already a title predefined income report because the application keeps you in context. And this means it is always inferring from the current place you were at, from the artifacts you're looking at, on what you are talking about and what you're dealing with. So I just call this income report for Ivo. And I look up Ivo from the lists of users, and luckily we have him, and open a collaboration session. So what you're seeing now is that the report is already linked into the collaboration session. So if someone is accessing the application or opening this collaboration, he can immediately jump into the same report, into the same drill state. And yeah, what should I ask Ivo? Can I increase the forecast? So Ivo, what do you think?
Well, as we said, we want to keep it natural. So what I can see here is, I got a question from Gerrit, but all right. Well, I can take some time. But really what we want to show you here is that, all this talk about collaboration, what we feel is still very system-like, right? But as I said earlier, what are people using? How do we communicate? And this is not a point about, me getting more information or Gerrit trying to get more information from the system. He can get that. But what he wants is me, I'm on the road, I'm mobile. He wants to move on, and now I can respond quick. Like I said, faster response time. So what I can do, and what Gerrit actually did, he was sharing information for me to look at. So I can even see the KPI that he was referring to, and I can look into this. And what we're not doing is recreating everything you can do on a browser. You cannot do that on an iPhone. You cannot do that on a mobile device, nor should you, right? What I want is just very quick information for me to act on and respond so that I can go back and tell Gerrit that revenue looks good. Go get a Twinkie. Actually, that's Dave. So, all right. So I'll send him back, and right now, Gerrit knows, and I can be on the road. I can continue on, and Gerrit can continue on. Faster response times for decision making.
Thanks, Ivo. And a very interesting story. When I was flying in from Germany last night, I had Wi-Fi, and I was preparing this model. And since, as I said, I do not know many things about profit and loss statements, I needed to ask some of the guys on what our correct numbers are and how should it look like. And I was sitting in a plane connected with Wi-Fi, and I was thinking, should I write an email? But luckily, the other guys also had a user in the system already defined, and so I was just inviting them on the same report in a collaboration session, and we created it together. And the funny thing was, one of the guys was actually sitting there with his iPhone, not at his notebook PC. And then I think it struck me the first time, wow, this is how you do financial planning for real. So this works.
Yeah, I think literally they said this S works, right?
Yeah.
This stuff.
This freaking stuff works. And another thing I can do in a collaboration session is not only writing messages, because then we are not better than like WhatsApp or anything else that you might use in an office environment. You can also share versions. So I can send Ivo my version, the version I just created, and make it from an unpublished to a shared version. And I can even decide, should I give him write access, but maybe I don't like that he fumbles with my numbers, so I just give him read-only access for review. And again, he's getting a tile he can click on, and it is immediately taken to this specific data point. Additionally, I can send ad hoc tasks. And assign it to a single or to multiple persons. And he gets a notification on his mobile device that a new task has been created, and he might want to check it. The version remains as it is until I either decide to publish it, make it publicly available, or to all the users that have the proper access rights, of course, or I can just remove it if I hit the right button. And then it goes away, and you will see it's also withdrawn from the collaboration session, obviously. So another major things in my daily life, and I guess in your daily life, is working in processes, right? And we all have to keep up with deadlines and milestones, and it's always a nightmare to reschedule and to manage them somehow. And our research showed that many customers struggles with complex workflow management, right? This whole BPMN notions with this graph and structures, it's just a nightmare because it's hard to maintain and hard to understand. So what we did is we just redesigned workflow management, just removed the collaboration, and created an event-based workflow engine, which is driven from a calendar. And a calendar is my artifact as one who sends tasks, as well as the main place for me receiving tasks. And I can download this to Outlook, I can get this on my mobile device, and I can also get a preview now of all the processes I have defined up front to see where they are standing. They are all in initial state, right, because I just created them. But it shows me nicely what is up next and where we are standing in every process. And if I select a single one, such as the P&L Q4, I can see what the status is, because all of the participants get an invite to this, and it is not integrated, it is, how would I say, it's natively built with collaboration into it. So you can send messages to the entire group, you can reach out to individual persons who didn't fulfill their tasks. They can send you artifacts such as version of reports for review or anything else, and you can access it from this single place. And creating a new event or a new milestone is as easy as sending an ad hoc task. I just sent a process which is relevant, such as global planning, and I label it review. And I just pick EVO again. And a new review process is created. Oops. EVO gets a notification, and since he's the only person, there's only a group chat possible, which will be him, apparently. But it gives us an easy way to communicate, and I can reschedule by just dragging and dropping it to other parts of the calendar and moving it back and forth. And this is how easy it can be. So, obviously, I could talk for hours, because there's much more to show, but I was asked to keep it short or keep it crisp. And I want to close with some of the key remarks which are standing out for me. And the first is that this is truly user-centric design, because we're focusing on removing the complication from work. And we're trying to strip everything away that gets in your way from getting the job done. Secondly, my design goal, or our design goal in the team, is to create one place for all people to work together in the most beautiful way. So the application is beautiful, not by accident, because we want it to be beautiful. We want you to like it. As Ivo said, Mondays never looked so
good.
Yeah. And we didn't even rehearse that. And finally, as I said, I'm a computer scientist. And there is one thing I have to tell you. Because all this is natively built into the core of the HANA database. This is where I have started. So I started as an engineer in T-Rex, which came out to be HANA, in the core database engine. And all what we have shown you today is in the very core of HANA. And I promise you that you will experience the most stunning performance ever. So stay tuned for Q1 next year for the final release. I'll be there, and I hope all of you too.
Great job. Well, and what I didn't tell you, so I mean, it is truly unique having development here. I mean, these guys worked so hard, and as you can see, it really paid off. I mean, this is working software. This is phenomenal. Gerrit actually has been nominated for the Hasso Platinum Award, which means it's one of the top talents within SAP. It's a very prestigious prize. I hope you'll win it. I'm sure you'll have a good shot at it. But it shows you what kind of talent we're bringing into EPM and analytics. to build, phenomenal applications. And as you have seen, all the design, that's also unique. What we did is we created a whole design team. We brought in designers, right? Not engineers, but people that are product design, graphic design, again, to make sure that we build an application that is for people, that is designed around the work. And you could see the examples of that with collaboration. That's how we work. That's how we do it. The event manager, the same thing. That's how we organize our work, from calendar day to calendar day, to a quarterly business review to an annual budget meeting, right? That's how we work. So that's what we brought in. So if we'll continue on, what this shows, it does not show. All right. So what we'll do, and what we have built here is what we like to call the fulfillment of the cloud company powered by HANA, right? That is what the company set out to do. That's what Bill McDermott, our CEO, has set out in the market. And this, what we just showed you, as Gerrit explained, this is what we mean by the cloud company by HANA. We're delivering on it. That's what we're saying. That's our promise. And our promise to bring you native HANA high-performance solutions that you can and will enjoy working with.